Hey, everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. The Minnesota Vikings did not come out on top against the Baltimore Ravens, but they have a chance to get their lick back this week. They are hosting the Chicago Bears, but then the Gophers, they had a week off, and they're headed to Oregon. There's a slight chance the Gophers can beat Oregon. We'll talk about that and much more coming up next on the Ron Johnson Show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. Now the Ron Johnson Show. On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. He's played with them, hung out with them, and grown up with all the big names in Minnesota sports. They're hanging out with Ron Johnson. It's the Ron Johnson Show on the Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. And it starts now.
Hey, good people, it's a beautiful Tuesday in November. I cannot believe November has such beautiful weather in Minnesota. I don't know where you're listening from, but hopefully your weather is just as nice. I know there was some snow in areas, and Minnesota did not get it, so I don't want to jinx it, but I want to thank everybody for joining me today on the Ron Johnson Show. This is Locked On Sports Minnesota, and I am Ron Johnson, your host. My co-host Sam Extra will be joining us in a minute, but I want everybody to know today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Just download the FanDuel app now by using FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Now, every week I try to give you guys like a lock, and I say, like, this is a lock. This is good. I don't know what happened in the NFL, but it was not a lockable weekend, people. Like the Bills losing, what? Like, it's not supposed to happen that way, but, you know, it is what it is. That's why you play the game. But again, your first $5 bet, I'm going to give you one. The Badgers probably lose. I'm just guessing. It's just a slight guess. Ohio State probably wins. So there's your locks, people. Go bet on Ohio State to win. And I hate the Badgers, so that's the only reason why I'm saying the Badgers are going to lose. Maybe they win, but Ohio State for sure. I'm pretty sure. Now, this could be the absolute worst thing in history if Ohio State loses this late in the season, but Ohio State should win this game coming up. So, guys, make sure you can bet on that. That's your easy lock for $5, and you get $300 in bonus bets just by visiting FanDuel.com. And as I bring my co-host into the show, Sam Extra, my producer, we're going to talk today about the Ravens Vikings. We're going to talk about Gophers as well. They got the Oregon Ducks coming up off of a victory against Michigan State. Oregon almost lost to Iowa. So we'll talk about that and what maybe the Gophers can do to make them one-dimensional. And then we got to talk about the elephant in the room. The Minnesota Vikings could lose their defensive coordinator. Could they? Could they potentially lose their defensive coordinator? We'll talk about that in the Daily 3. But again, Sam, thanks for joining me, man. So Ravens, Vikings. Should have been a win for the Minnesota Vikings. Everybody thought that this was a game the Vikings should win. Why? Not because the Ravens' offense is not good. Lamar Jackson's back. They are extremely effective when Lamar Jackson's in the lineup. Mark Andrews, he was my player to watch when we did the pregame show and my film breakdown. And go figure, Mark Andrews scores a touchdown. How do you not know where number 89 is? How do you not know where the gigantic tight end is at in any type of red zone situation? When Lamar Jackson is rolling out, you know he's looking for number 89, and the Minnesota Vikings defense just kind of fell asleep. But Sam, when you look at the Ravens defense, and this is where I want to start, right? 373 yards before this game, they were 27. 250 pass yards, they were 28. 123 run yards. They had given up 123 yards on the ground, Sam. They were 21st and 27 points per game. They were 24th. Sam, the Minnesota Vikings, the offense, everything was there. Everything was there, Sam. And I hate to say this, and I hate to do this, and I didn't do this on the postcast, but I get a chance to do this now, Sam. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 6. I don't know if you guys saw the tweet that I tweeted out of Vince Vaughn in the movie The Breakup, when he's telling his friend at the bar, he's like, hey, don't do anything. I don't want anything to happen. Don't do it. He's like, oh, let's just act like you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. And that was my joking video, that the don't do anything crazy, that's the offensive staff for the Minnesota Vikings. On 2nd and 1 and 3rd and 1, They're looking over at Kevin O'Connell like, don't do anything crazy. Don't do it. And Kevin O'Connell is the guy at the bar saying, don't worry. You just the less you know, then you don't have to say this is your fault. I got this. And he's like, wait, what do you mean you got this? No. Don't do it. Relax. I got this. It's almost like 2nd and 1, Sam, 3rd and 1. Kevin O'Connell gets a light bulb above his head. And the light bulb, or like the cartoon we used to always see as kids, the angel on one side and the devil on the other side, and the angel's like, just run the ball. Just run the ball. Just hand it off to CJ Ham. Just run the ball. Put elephant package in, do a tush push. Just run the ball. And then that devil on the other side is, come on now. Throw it. Throw it as deep as you can throw it. Throw it as far as you can throw it. Run a 17-second play action play and throw it deep. That's what I feel like Kevin O'Connell struggles with when it comes to calling plays. It's the angel and the devil on his shoulder, Sam. And when you think about it, the devil continues to win. He continues to make these calls. He continues to run play action. And everybody, some people are saying like, I don't mind that call. If Justin Jefferson doesn't fall, that's not interception. It's probably not a catch either, though. Like Marlon Humphreys was standing there like a center fielder for the LA Dodgers waiting for the ball to land. Like it was like Shohei Ohtani, and you just hit a pop-up to the pitcher. And he's just like, I got this. Back up, guys. I got this. Even if Justin Jefferson didn't fall, my guess is Marlon Humphreys just bats it down. At the best, a 50-50 ball goes to Justin Jefferson. At the worst, at the second best, could be pass interference on Marlon Humphreys. But at the worst, we saw the worst. Interception. Not one, but twice, Sam. And so I have to kind of look at this, right? JJ McCarthy, those are 248 yards. By the way, I think I said he was over 250 on the pregame show. Those are 248.
Pretty close.
Are you kidding me? TJ Hawkinson, just break a tackle at the end of the game. Just break that tackle. Just break a tackle and get me 4 more yards. 252. I said he would have 251, and I was 3 yards short, Sam. 3 yards short. But Sam, do you have a problem with those plays? Let me start there first, because I don't want to continue on. Because I know some people are like, I'm okay with that call. I'm not like, he failed. And then the other one is like, well, JJ McCarthy throws in a double coverage. What else was he going to do? I'm going to watch the film today. I haven't had a chance yet. This is my plan, because when I get on the Wednesday show and maybe the Thursday show, I want to be able to say, hey, look, I watched these plays. Here's potentially where JJ McCarthy was at fault. Or here's potentially where Kevin O'Connell gave him no other option, because he had time to throw the ball. I mean, no. So the first one, he did have to step up into the pocket. So he didn't have all the time in the world, but he stepped up in the pocket. He was clear. Maybe run the ball. Maybe just run the ball for that first down. JJ McCarthy could have got him 6 yards. There was nobody around. The first person, I think, was 7 or 8 yards down the field. I'm guessing JJ McCarthy makes him miss, or is able to run at an angle to dive forward and get a first down. But Sam, like, what are your thoughts on those two plays?
Yeah, so 3rd and 6, you're definitely going to throw the ball. We're okay with the choice to throw, but presumably your top read is Justin Jefferson. That's a deep ball on 3rd and 6. Let's maybe try to advance the chains. Justin Jefferson's very good at creating separation in short areas of the field as well. Can he be the top option on a 10-yard route instead that doesn't invite these things to happen? The 3rd and 1, you were running the ball so well in this game, Ron. 7 yards per attempt with McCarthy scrambling, Mason, Jones. You need to try and run the ball there, I think, a lot more frequently than the Vikings have been. And I know hindsight's always 20/20. But JJ McCarthy's also got to make some better decisions, right? Even if Justin Jefferson is the top option on a deep ball, that does not give you clearance to heave it aimlessly down the field. Justin Jefferson is good. He might be Superman, but he is not a miracle worker when you're throwing into double coverage, kind of a hanging duck. The Ravens are going to make that play more times than not. So I'm bothered by the 3rd and 1 call a little bit. But also when you're drawing up these plays for your top wide receiver that are so far downfield, your likelihood of hitting them is much lower. Just look at the completion percentage on deep throws across the league. It's probably 30%. I would rather see them move the chains, play the time of possession game a little bit more than they are with this young quarterback.
And that's what I think. Like, that's where I go with that. I don't know if you watched the Lions game, Sam, but they did a lot of underneath stuff to Jamison Williams. And I was sitting there watching the Commanders game, and as we're literally doing the fan line, Sam, I'm joking with Nordo, and I'm like, watch this dig route. And what did they do? They ran a dig route to Jamison Williams. And then I come back and I say, okay, watch this again. I bet they do something similar to a dig route. Next play, what do? They run the underneath shallow, and then the over-the-top dig. They hit the shallow. And then what do they do in the next play, Sam? They run the ball. Why? Because that's what you should do. Just go move the chains. And then the touchdown to Jamison Williams. The very next play is a dig route again. 8 to 10 yards. I don't understand why, and this is all like 3 of them were off play action, Sam. So it behooves you. It bothers me, but it behooves you to just throw something underneath. When you see play action, and then that's why I like the broadcast for Commanders Lions, they actually showed when Jared Goff did the play action. One, why, Sam? Because the run's working. The Vikings had the run working, so it was going to work. The linebackers came up to try to get to Jahmyr Gibbs. And then they, like, soon as he didn't have it, they all ran back. They're like, okay, go cover some space, go cover an area. What's open when they all disperse? The middle, because everybody takes off scattering. And Jamison runs right underneath that, and Jared Goff just, boom, on his back foot, boom, throws it. For those watching on YouTube, you guys are seeing the absolutely awesomeness of my play action play, my throwing arm. For those that are just listening on the podcast, Spotify, iHeartMedia app, wherever you get your podcast, we thank you. We listen, but make sure you guys go to YouTube, subscribe. That's Locked On Sports Minnesota on YouTube. You can see my play action. Like, you don't see the fake, then I hide the ball, then I throw it. Like, you're missing all that. But when I watched that, Sam, it was so ironic because we were talking about the 3rd and 1 and the 3rd and 6. And literally, I just joked. I'm like, watch the Lions here run an in cut. And I'm just joking, because we're on the radio. Who cares if I'm right or wrong? And he runs an in cut. And I'm like, okay, let's see if he does play action and does it again. Sam, he literally did it again. And then it's like, well, it's not a rabbit's foot. Let's hand the ball off. Because you're like, look, they're worried about us running play action. They're worried about these guys in the game. They hand the ball off. And then they come back the very next one. And then down later, I think they end up doing another one where they run like a Texas route with the running back out the backfield. Gibbs catches it, scoots across, and scores. All that stuff can be done by every offense in the NFL. The Vikings have the similar, if not the same weapons as the Lions. I mean, they don't have Jahmyr Gibbs, but they got a running back that's getting yards. I would say Jamison Williams and Jordan Addison are pretty similar. I would say Amon St. Brown and Justin Jefferson, the edge goes to Justin Jefferson, but similar, right? I would say Sam Laporta, maybe that's where they have the edge. TJ Hawkinson has not been giving you that type of production. But when I say, like, you could take the pieces and they're pretty much the same, you could. Needless to say, you probably could have Dan Campbell take this offense and probably make some of the right calls in the right situations. I'm not saying Kevin O'Connell's a bad coordinator because he's doing his job. He moves the ball. He puts things together. He's a QB whisperer. But I'm kind of wondering, is it that devil and angel type of conversation happening whenever it's 3rd and 1? Because we see the gigantic play sheet and everybody sees it on TV because they all use it to cover up their mouth. We see that, right? And they all get their play card. I can't find mine, but they get their play card. I'll just use something like this. And Sam, they're up here and they're jet sweep, jet sweep, yeah. double lift, right? It's like Wilson from the Tool Time. I don't know if you ever watched Tool Time, Sam, with Tim Allen. Yeah. Mr. Wilson, I think is what his name. He was on the other side of the fence. But all the coaches do that. One, they're trying to block the wind from their microphone. Some probably are nervous. I don't want the TV copy to read my lips. But Sam, when you look at that play sheet, I just wonder on his 3rd and 1, 3rd and 6 play call options, right? You always have the highlighter too. For those that understand, like yellow, every coach has different colors of why they highlight it. Yellow could be like, this is caution. Green could be like, this is our guaranteed goal. And then pink is probably like, hey, this is risky, but we still need to do it, right? Red light, green light, yellow light. Similar. That's how I would do it because that's easy for me to remember when I'm looking at my play sheet. Nobody can see it anyway, so like it's more for the coach to know, here's my red, here's my green, and here's my yellow, right? This is how, and then there's blue as well. I don't know what blue is. Blue is like, this play might make us sad, or it might be really cool. I don't know. But when you think about that, right? I wonder what Kevin O'Connell was thinking and about those calls. And then let's flip it, right? We can't sit on the offense all day. I'm not going to blame this on the offense. Everything is not the offense's fault, right? They did what they could do defensively. When you look at what Lamar Jackson was able to accomplish, some of the runs, we talked about the spy, right? And for the most part, I felt like the Vikings had a good idea of how to keep Lamar Jackson at bay and not let him get a bunch of 15, 20, 30-yard runs. They held him to under 50 yards rushing, which, I think he had been averaging 31 on the season, and he kind of was right at his average. But when you see that as well, Sam, like the defense, giving up the touchdowns, leaving Mark Andrews wide open, Derrick Henry he didn't get loose, but, when he did get loose, it's like, how are we missing that first tackle? Why are we not wrapping up? How much of this, Sam, do you put on the offense versus the defense in this loss to the Ravens?
Yeah, probably more on the offense. I felt like the defense did its job to get stops early in the game, hold the Ravens to field goals. Like, remember, Ron, the Ravens were on 3 points until late in the first half. Then they went field goal right before the half because the Vikings went 3 and out. That was a really valiant first half effort. Then the Ravens got determined about running the ball because the passing game wasn't working. The drop back game was not working, to the Vikings' credit. The run defense was not even that porous, Ron. It wasn't like they were giving up 10 yards a pop, but they were not able to produce negative plays in the Ravens run game. It was such a consistent 4 or 5 yards on first down, 3-4 yards on second down, third and short. We're going to run it again and pound our way for a first down. They only averaged 4.2 yards a carry, but they were so consistent in advancing the chains. They were comfortable running it. Very opposite of the Vikings run. Very comfortable running it on a 3rd and 2 and picking up the first down that way. It was not a terrible run defense performance, but the Ravens always had that positive momentum. You gotta create those negative plays, those TFLs, Ron, in order to really stifle a run game, and the Vikings just weren't able to do that.
And so here's the thing I look at, right? So I'm looking at a couple plays because I got the all 22 up. I might as well do it. I'm like why wait till tomorrow? Like I'm gonna do more of this breakdown tomorrow, though, Sam. But I'm looking at like a couple in-cut plays, and so because I'm not gonna act like he didn't run in-cutting routes. So the one I'm looking at is Jalen Naylor motions over to the right, straight drop shotgun. Jordan Addison has a dig wide open. Jalen Naylor has the under, which the Lions do. Now, when I watch the wide angle, it's like the throw is there is wide open. But then when I turn around, Sam, and look at this back angle, the question is hands getting up, down, right? So is it JJ McCarthy is pretty predictable. He looks off to the right. He comes back to the left. The guy knows to get his hands up. Is it his arm angle? Have you looked at that or thought about that too, Sam? Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, is his arm angle just low? Because he's not a short guy. So it's I wonder that, what is that? And so, and then here's the other one too. Before I'll let you answer that, and then I got the interception up too, and so I'm gonna tell you what I see on this from the all 22.
Yeah, I've seen some people theorize that because McCarthy has a very slow motion, he winds his arm back, he cocks it back, it takes another beat, that it gives defensive players a chance to recognize that he's throwing it and get their hands up. I thought that was a pretty good theory. But also, Ron, when there's not the arc that you need, you got to have touch as a quarterback. It can't all be eye level. He's not lifting the ball over that line like he has to. He's throwing a straight line ball, and it's, catching people in the helmet, catching him in the fingertips. He's got to get that thing up a little higher. I don't know if it's a higher release point or just a higher trajectory when he lets it go.
And Sam, so here's the thing. I'm looking at this interception, right? The first one. So pocket, the guys are around him, right? But the pocket, he can step up. So at least they gave him a lane to step up. TJ Hockenson runs a hook at the sticks. So I'm guessing if he's able to throw it right away, he can get it to Hockenson. Behind that, Jordan Addison is running a dig route, but he's running like a wide dig. I felt like he should have run like a shallower dig, like a in-breaking dig, meaning get on top of TJ Hockenson sooner and then be able to break in. You got Adam Thielen. I'll probably break this down in Ron's review today, but on Twitter. But when you look at Adam Thielen has a corner route, and then Justin Jefferson has a corner route as well. So it's like double corners. Adam has one, Justin has one. The goal is they're trying to put the safety in a bind because it looks like it's single high, right? So you got one safety back there. You got the other corner up top is kind of like in the drop thirds. I don't know if they were in quarter, half. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like one side of the field is in quarters, the other side is in half, which would be cover 6. And then you got underneath coverage where you got 3 defenders. Sam, you have, I think this is C.J. Ham and Aaron Jones. One of the two is in the flat. When JJ McCarthy steps up, Sam, the only defender that would have affected him, Sam, the only defender is at the sticks, right? And he's not spying him. I will say he's coming up towards him. But then there's a defender to his right. That defender that was coming up towards him, Sam, is 2 yards behind the sticks. So if it was 3rd and 6, that guy's 8 yards away from JJ McCarthy. There's also a guy outside the numbers by 4 yards. If JJ McCarthy continues to just run forward and takes an angle to the right, he's fast enough, I feel like. Now, they did have, like I said, they did have some type of spy guy. I don't know what his true role is, but he could have run for it. And that's the one thing that I'm wondering, did Kevin O'Connell come back later and say, hey, if you just run full speed, I mean, you're going to have to run hard. You might be able to stick your foot in the ground and make this guy miss at a different angle. TJ Hawkinson is at the line. Like when his arm is fully forward, because he ran forward, the guy that was technically in the middle is running away from TJ Hawkinson. The other defender is 2 yards behind Hawk. So if he throws, Hawk is at the 2 yards beyond the sticks. If he throws an absolute bullet into TJ Hawkinson's stomach, he catches it for a first down, Sam. So that's my only question is JJ McCarthy being told, here's the play, Justin Jefferson's the guy, and he just had that, because the safety's back there. So I don't know why you make that throw. You can see the safety. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm wondering, Sam, is when the bullet started flying, was it just too fast for him? And that's my only question. That's the only thing I would say. And do you think that could be the case, that the bullets just were moving too fast for him?
Yeah, I think that there's some tunnel vision that happens when you have Justin Jefferson. You lock in and you say, oh, I want to give him a chance. He's Justin Jefferson. And you do that at the expense of a better throw, a safer throw, a smarter throw. This is all processing. JJ McCarthy needs to process a little bit faster. Recognize, all right, I've got a soft spot in the middle of the field. I can run for a first down. That's a much safer, higher percentage play than throwing it. And Ron, I think there's also a little bit of hesitance on McCarthy's part because of the injuries that have occurred with him using his legs. I think there's a little hesitance to make that move. I think that he wants to throw versus run versus taking hits. But when you're in the game, you have to be open to doing that. You have to use your tools to get first downs. And I think he's still figuring out the balance.
Well, that'll do it for the Ravens-Vikings talk. Vikings have the Bears coming up next. Was that the 16th? Can they pull off a win to kind of stay at this mediocre 500, record? I think that's what everybody feels like. This could be one of those 8-8 down the stretch seasons, and then they have a chance, and then they have a winning season because they win that last game that they're not supposed to win, and all the fans are like, "Yep, here we go again." Just mediocrity, and people are not happy because people are not happy right now. But we'll see if they lose to the Bears, Sam. I feel like the sky might be falling. People might start saying the sky is falling if Ben Johnson, because they almost lost the first one to the Bears. So it's not like and the Bears look good, so it's not like, and Caleb Williams is not making the mistakes we thought he would make. Early on in the season, he kind of made them. Now it feels like Ben Johnson's kind of put a saddle on that horse and said, hey, no more of that wild stallion stuff, man. Do what I say, and I promise you I will make you good. And it looks like Caleb Williams might be doing that, but we'll talk about that a little bit more on Thursday, potentially, as well. But coming up next, we're going to talk Gophers Ducks. I mean, it's a Friday night game now that the Pac-12 has now entered the Big Ten. The Big Ten has to play Friday night football. High school football players are probably not happy about that, taking their Friday nights away. But Gophers and Ducks, is this one of those ones, Sam, that we're going to watch all the way through? Or is this one of those ones where Luke's going to be texting me like, hey, it's the third quarter. I already got the thing up. If you want to start in the fourth quarter, we can start the post-game show in the fourth quarter. But then that'd be just our luck. We start the post-game show and the Gophers make a 30-point comeback and they win the game. But we'll talk about a little Gophers Ducks coming up next after a word from our sponsors.
And that sponsor is FanDuel. FanDuel has a great deal right now. We've told you about it before. We'll tell you about it again. If you're a new customer, you bet $5 and you win that bet, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. That is great for the NBA right now, which is 11 games or so into the season. You can bet those big comebacks with the live wagering options. NFL lines, college football lines, hockey lines. Let's look at the lines for our favorite football teams. Vikings favored by 3 against the Bears. That line has moved in the Vikings' favor from 2.5 to 3. So will they win by a field goal? I think they can. Gophers, not getting a lot of respect. 25.5-point underdogs against Oregon. So basically they're predicting about a 35-10 Oregon win. Can the Gophers outperform that? They haven't given us much room to believe after the Iowa games and the Ohio State games, but crazy things can happen. You can wager on all of those at FanDuel.com or the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Check it out today. Download the app. Make your first $5 bet.
Well, now it's time to talk Gophers Ducks, Sam. And you know what? I mean, I hate to say it like this, but I don't even know how much time we should spend on this one. Because I think that daily 3, I'm going to spend more than 3 minutes on that first topic because it's some juicy jokes out there, Sam, that I thought about right away when I saw Brian Daboll got fired. So that's coming up next in the daily 3, people. But when you look at Gophers Oregon, Sam, I am doing a play breakdown. Like I'm starting that either today or tomorrow. Probably got to start it today because it's a Friday game, and I keep forgetting that. That's what, like, we shot the PJ Flex show yesterday. It's going to air today, but we had to shoot it yesterday because of the Friday night start. So meaning the Gophers, and here's what's crazy. We talked to PJ yesterday, and the Gophers schedule, this is the weirdest thing, right? So their Tuesday, which is today, is their Wednesday practice. Their Monday, which was, so today is a Wednesday. Sunday was a Tuesday or something like that. Like Sunday was a Monday, Tuesday was a Wednesday, and Wednesday is going to be a Tuesday. It was so weird when he was trying to explain it. If you guys watch it on the PJ Flex show tonight, you'll see him talk about it. We literally were all, somebody was like, that's the meme where the dude is in the casino, Zach Galifianakis, I think, or whatever, and the numbers are just going by. Like, wait, what did you just say?
Yeah.
It was like it was a reverse, because it wasn't like, like the way I would say it would be like, oh, okay, Sunday is your Monday, Monday is your Tuesday, and Tuesday is your Wednesday. No, that wasn't the case, because what he wanted is he flipped it so that the guys could get a little bit more rest today. So today, what's today, Tuesday? So Tuesday is like their Monday. Monday was their Wednesday, and Sunday was their Tuesday. It was something weird like that. We were all sitting there like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that doesn't even make sense. But you know what? There's a sleep study with this. There's a body recovery study that they do. You know, they like Sleep Number is one of the sponsors. You know, they do the Vikings too. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen Justin Jefferson talk about his sleep number is whatever, 84, and it feels so good, and he gets his best sleep. And then they all have the Oura rings, or they got the watches to tell them how much they slept through the night and all that stuff, Sam. By the way, Sam, do you track your sleep? Do you do any of that stuff?
I don't. I've got a lot of friends that do, and they take it very seriously, and I respect them for it. I don't. I kind of know. I wake up. I know if I slept well. I know if I slept badly. I'm just vibes guy. Do not feel.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm getting old, Sam. You'll get here one day, but I suffer from bouts of vertigo every once in a while where, like, in the middle of the night, I'm just nauseous, and because I'm dizzy. So, like, it feels like my dream is making me dizzy, but I think I'm just getting dizzy, and then my mind is making me think it's a dream. So, like, in my dream, I'm, like, looking down, then I'm looking up, and I'm on a building, then I look right, and I look left, and then all of a sudden I'm nauseous and dizzy. I think my body's just doing it, and I'm just giving myself a visual of probably what my body thinks I'm doing. So now I wake up and I sit up and I'm feeling like, oh, do I need to throw up? I'm just feeling, so it's like, it's just that. So I'm like wondering what my Oura ring or what my sleep number, because I don't sleep with a watch on or any of that stuff. So I'm like, I wonder what my sleep number or my sleep ring would tell me, like, oh, you only had 4 good hours of sleep and REM and versus what all that other stuff is, and deep sleep, you're only in deep sleep for 5. So there's a whole study that the Gophers do, right? And the NFL does it a little bit too. And so when I heard him talk about that, right? So today is Tuesday, because let me get this right. So Tuesday is their Monday. So what he wants on a Tuesday is to continue to rest your body, right? Because then Wednesday is going to be like a fast Friday for them, right? So it's weird, right? They're going to do a double fast Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, because technically Thursday they have to fly. So Wednesday has to be a fast Friday practice in order to then get ready for Thursday's walkthrough. That's going to be another maybe extended fast Friday, because when they fly out Thursday, when they wake up Friday, it's not a Saturday morning game. So they do get a little bit of the morning, and they're going to do a Friday walkthrough, which would be their normal Friday. Well, you know, so Sam is like, wait, what just happened? And when I hear all that to say, one, they're going to the West Coast. So their body clocks are going to be, is it later, right, for us than them? Is that what it is? Yeah.
It'll feel like 7. No, it'll feel like
It'll feel like 8.
Like 9.
9 for kickoff. It's the kickoff because our pregame show here is 7. And so that means kickoff's at 8 and it'll be 9. No, sorry. No, it kickoffs for them is 7. It'll be 8 here, right? I think that's 9. What it is.
2 hours. It's 2 hours different.
Is it a 2-hour difference?
Yep.
So our pregame show is 7, which I think it's usually 2 hour or an hour before kickoff on night games. Maybe I'm wrong. It's throwing me off. I just know the pregame show is at 7. So I assumed the game was at 8, but maybe it's at 9 our time. But I thought it was you know what, let me do this. Because I'm off because I know we're at 7. That's all I know. That's all I've seen is we're at 7 o'clock and they are, it doesn't say the time. Why won't you tell me the time, people? They are 8 p.m. So it is 8 p.m. Okay. So it's 8 p.m. kickoff. 9 p.m. Eastern. So I was right. Yeah. So 7 p.m. kick, 8 p.m. our time kick, 7 p.m. our time pregame, 5 p.m. their time. So then that means it's 6 p.m. their time kick, which is not bad. 6 p.m. their time kick, but 8 p.m. for their bodies, which means by the end of the game, because it might go long. Hopefully it goes long, which means it's a close game. It's 11:30 for them, Sam. 11:30. And then when they get on the plane and they get back, Sam, it's like 4 to 5 in the morning. Like, do you know how annoying that is to get back on a Saturday morning at 4 or 5 a.m. and then you got to tell yourself, like, can I go to sleep or just I'm going to just go have breakfast, stay up and go about my day and then try to, because you got all day Saturday off now. Like, you got a free Saturday. But when I say this, Sam, like, getting into the football side of this, right? Away from the sleep number, all the stuff. Dante Moore is an absolute unit, right? Detroit, Michigan. Shout out to Martin Luther King High School. I got my high school helmet right here. Dante Moore wore the same helmet. We played at the same high school, grew up in the same city, went to the same classrooms. Similar coach. Our coach passed away, Coach James Reynolds. Shout out to Coach Reynolds. And now his new head coach, Terrell Patrick, who played receiver at Martin Luther King High School as well. He's now the head coach there. Has just talked about his athleticism. Went to UCLA. Didn't work well there. I'm glad he left because Deshaun Foster could not really get it figured out with recruiting and so on and so forth. Amaliva went there. Still not going well. Deshaun Foster loses his job. Dante Moore goes on with Dan Lanning. Very stable program. He had originally committed, for those that don't know, to Oregon. He was an Oregon commit. UCLA threw a bunch of NIL money at him, so he jumped ship. He probably regrets that now, but it worked out for him. You know, Dylan Gabriel, because he would have sat behind Dylan Gabriel for a year, and I think that was part of it too. He's like, I want to play. So he had a chance to go play at UCLA, so he played as a freshman, got a lot of experience as a freshman. Now as a sophomore, he's not a freshman or redshirt freshman playing. He's a sophomore that played and started in a bunch of games at UCLA, and now he's starting at Oregon, and he is a Heisman candidate. He is potentially the top draft pick in the NFL for quarterbacks, according to Jordan Reed's latest big board. Well, maybe we need to get Jordan Reed on here to talk about that. But when you look at him from a quarterback perspective, Sam, he's an absolute unit, but he has weapons across the board. And that's where I see kind of like, I look at all the advantages, right? So the spread, Sam, I'm asking you a couple questions. You answer me.
Okay.
So the spread over under, right? Over under is 44.5. Do you think that's going to happen?
Yes, and it could all come from Oregon, but I do think that it
so
will.
50 points for Oregon, none for the Gophers. So 44.5 is an over. So I'm guessing people are taking the over. That's negative 110 right now. The Gophers, Sam, are plus 1,500 on the money line. Oregon is minus 5,000. So if my math is right, Sam, you got to bet. What is it? You got to bet like 5,000 to even win. Is that how that kind of works?
5,000 bet
would win you like
$100.
$100.
Yeah.
You got to be really confident to make that bet. Like, I'm gonna put $1 million on Oregon just to get, was that $50,000? I think is what it would be, or
something like that. Something like that.
Like if I put $1 million down, I get $50,000. Okay, so I almost lost $1 million just to get 50,000. That's when you know you got too much money if you do something that dumb. Like, I'm gonna put $1 million on Oregon on the money line, knowing I'm only win $50,000, and I could lose $1 million if the Gophers somehow pull off a miracle, because we've done it before, right? Oregon's 8-1, 5-1 in the conference. Gophers are 6-3, 4-2 in the conference. So when you just look at records, you're like, oh, this is a pretty close game. But then when you start looking at the spread, right? Gophers are plus 25.5 plus 25.5. Do you think they cover? Do you think they keep it within 25 points, Sam?
That is a huge number. Now they haven't. They in those other two tough road games, they lose to Ohio State by like 42-3.
Yeah, something like that.
The Iowa game 41-3. I want to say. Oregon has not been lighting up the scoreboard of late. Just looking at their recent schedule, Ron, against Penn State, they had 24 points in regulation. Lost to Indiana, only scored 20. They beat Wisconsin 21-7. Beat Iowa 18-16. So they had one win mixed in there against Rutgers where they hung 56. So they can do stuff like that. But their offense has not been outlandishly good lately. So maybe the Gophers can hold them down. Now, is Dante Moore going to provide a significant run threat? Because that worries me against this Gophers defense. If he's going to run over them, kind of like Iowa did with Gronowski.
Yeah, he's gained 250 yards this year, right? So he's not a like, people see him as athletic and they're like, man, he's athletic. He doesn't run. Like, the way the offense is built for Oregon, he doesn't have to. Running for him is kind of like a last ditch effort, and he can do it. You know what I mean? Like, he can scoot. Kid's athletic, but and that's why people have him as the number one. Like, if he was out there, and I do know this, right? And that's why I absolutely hate some of these draft analysts, because Lamar Jackson got knocked because he ran so much, right? And now look at it. Like, he's he's been league MVP. But Dante Moore doesn't run. When they need him to get the ball out of his hands quick, he has a bunch of outlets with the running backs. They run like a receiver running back type of screen, but it's not a screen. It's almost like a quick pass to either receiver running back. Because I talked to PJ Fleck about this and I said, hey, how do you guys handle the horizontal? Because they go horizontal a lot with quick passes, and they just want to get the ball into the hands of their weapons. And then they're fast. All the running backs are fast. All the receivers are fast. Like, it is like a track meet out there. And he's like, yeah, we got to account for the perimeter with them. Like, they are not a deep threat team. They can throw it deep every once in a while, but they want to get you on the perimeter and put you in a bind with, like, if you have two DBs and we got three receivers, we're just going to throw a bubble screen to our receiver. And now those two guys block. And now his speed, that linebacker from inside of that nickel chasing, has no shot. If my receivers block, and we've seen some of the highlights of the receivers blocking, they actually take pride in their blocks. You're in trouble. Same with the running back. If the running back is covered man-to-man with a linebacker like Maverick Baranowski, they're just going to run a running back bubble. Like, the running back runs the bubble, the two receivers block. They put the linebacker on the defensive where he has to chase now a running back that probably runs 4.443. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch the highlights, we were playing. I mean, I hate to say it. PJ, I could tell he was a little bit annoyed because it's the PJ Flex show, and when we went to the Oregon segment, it was literally, Sam, 8 explosives, and they weren't repeats. You know, sometimes on TV shows there's repeats of the play. You're like, why does ESPN or somebody keep showing this play over and over and over again? No, this was 8 different plays, Sam. And PJ's like, can we show a fumble? Can we show an interception? Can we show? And I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, dang, can y'all show, like, you know, Dante Moore has bled before. He has thrown 5 picks, right? So can he throw it to the other team? Yes. Because if you keep him in the pocket and you make him think a different coverage is there, but Danny Collins is going to have a big job because Corey Parrish dropping into the box, like, that's where some of the interceptions can come, because he does throw quick. He does get out of his hands quick. So you got to match his quick with your wits, right? You have to match his quick with your wits. You know it's quick, so what are you thinking? How are you going to get to that space without letting him know you're getting to that space, right? If you know a slant's coming, but the only person that can affect it is maybe a linebacker or your safety dropping to the box, how do you get to that space quick enough? Because he's letting it go within 2 seconds. Like, it's catch, boom, boom, slant, and then they're out the door. And if you're not there, it's a foot race. And so can Dante Moore hurt you with your legs? No, Sam. He can do it, but he's not, like, that's not his nature. His nature is not Lamar Jackson. His nature is not, his nature's not even like, what's his name? Dylan Gabriel. You know, Dylan Gabriel will pull it down and run. He doesn't even have that. Shador doesn't. Honestly, he's better than Shador. But, you know, like how Shador sat in the pocket a lot and people were wondering why he didn't run more. That's where Dante Moore is. Like he's a unit. But their weapons on the outside is what makes them scary. Defensively, I think their defense is just enough. And so to pay off the tees, because I did this earlier, right? So one, I think they can keep this to 25 points, right? So I would bet on the Gophers to cover. But to pay off the tees, if you watch Iowa, right? They played smash mouth football with Iowa and beat Iowa at what Iowa does best, which is smash mouth football. I feel like the Gophers Iowa thing, like Darius Taylor going out, kind of was a wrench. Darius Taylor probably doesn't play in this game either. I'm not gonna Friday quick turn. I don't think he's ready to go. So you're gonna have Fame Ejeboy. He's good. Can the Gophers now play Oregon at their game, which is perimeter passes? Get it out quick. Get it out to the receivers. Get it in Ejeboy in space and see if he can make a linebacker miss. Like that's where the Gophers have to play. But when it comes to the running game, I think that's where the Gophers have been decent. Like they're past. Oh, sorry. When it comes to the passing game, they've had 7 sacks in the game and they've had 9 sacks in the game. Their front 7 gets after the quarterback. So that's where it comes down to, is Oregon going to subject Dante Moore to what Danny Collins wants to do with his defensive line? Carter Mins, Jackson, Howard, Anthony Smith. Like they've been getting after the quarterback. They've been absolutely terrorizing the quarterback. Is he going to subject him to that? You got Maverick Baranowski. You got, what's his name? Kingsbury. He goes on the delayed blitz. Are they going to play Oregon's game, and can Oregon match the intensity of how Danny Collins gets after the quarterback? If they can do that, 7 sack, 9 sack type of performance, rushing the quarterback out the pocket a bunch, because when he runs, he's only going to get you 6 to 7 yards. That's not going to kill you. What kills you is the pass that goes for 60. Can they do that? If that's the tease, right? So if they can get after Dante Moore, Sam, if they can make this offensive line for Oregon question who's coming, they can actually, I'm not going to say win the game, but they can get it to a point where at the end, we're like, the Gophers have a chance, right? Keep it low scoring. If it's like that Iowa, 15, 18, 19 points, the Gophers have a chance. If it gets up into that Ohio State 30s and 40s, I don't think Drake Lindsey can put up 44 points. And that's what makes this scary, Sam. That's kind of where I go with that. Do you because outside in as a you're just seeing it, right? You just assume Oregon has this.
Yeah, I do, until I see the Gophers put up a little better of a fight in a big road game. Top of head, Ron, what is the biggest road win of the PJ Fleck era? Can you bring it to mind quickly? Was there a Wisconsin
Iowa,
win?
right? The fair catch. Right?
Probably,
the illegal fair catch.
Yeah, and you're right. And that Iowa team was not very good. That Iowa team couldn't score at all.
Right.
So I don't know. It's a good win. I don't know if it's a great win, but this team has had a hard time going on the road and even competing with good teams. So this would be the biggest win of the PJ Fleck era on the road in terms of just a singular win, without question. Your first time going to Eugene. If the Gophers can run the ball, they've got a chance. Give Drake Lindsey some time in the pocket. If they can't run the ball and draw out drives and keep the Oregon offense off the field, I just don't see a path.
So that's where I go with that too. When you say that, it's they have not done great on the road, especially in big games. But on the road, period. They defended the home well, very well, undefeated at home, right? He's won some big games at home against Penn State, right? But then the Glenn Mason era, when you think about running the ball, controlling the game, Penn State win, Ohio State win, beating Alabama in a bowl game. I mean, I guess beating Auburn in a bowl game, but I don't know if you would consider that a road game because it's a neutral site. So can you consider that a road game? Just like Peyton Manning, just like Glenn Mason beating Alabama. I don't know if we can consider that a road win because it was a bowl game. So yeah, I got to go with Penn State, Ohio State for Mace. I got to go with PJ, because even when PJ won the Axe in Wisconsin, again, do we consider that a great win? I'd say Iowa, just because they had never beaten, or he hadn't beaten Iowa and still hasn't. I would say that would be the one for me and so yeah, Oregon, this could be one of those, talk about it, because again, people to this day still talk about the 1999 Gophers beating Penn State. They still talk about the 2000 Gophers beating Ohio State. This 2025 Gophers team, if they beat Oregon, this would be one in 2050 that people are like, oh man, remember when PJ went to Oregon and knocked off the Ducks when they were supposed to be in the national championship? That's one of those legacy wins. And whoever's the guy, you know what I mean? I thankfully was the guy at Ohio State and I was the guy at Penn State, and fans to this day still come up to me at Gopher games like, man, I remember I was 16, man, when you went to Ohio State, and I was, my dad told me about that when you guys beat Penn State. So this could be one of those legacy wins for Drake Lindsey, where he goes out there and they're like, man, Drake Lindsey outdueled Dante Moore. 2 years from now, is this the guy we want to draft? But coming up next, we got the Daily 3. I got to get into this Brian Daboll firing. And we got to talk a little Patriots. And then the 10-1 start. Wow. 10-1 start. We'll talk about that and much more coming up next on the Ron Johnson Show. Now it's time for the Daily Three. That's 3 questions. Take about a minute each. Take it away, Sam.
All right, Ron. Brian Daboll out with the New York Giants. They blew a lead against the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams ran it down their throat late, and they dropped to 2-8. So Daboll is out. What was your reaction, and what do you think the fallout will be?
No surprise. He should have been. He should have never been the head coach. I think they should have fired him, the GM, and everybody after we saw Hard Knocks. When Saquon left, we could have done it after Belichick leaked that it was the wrong Brian that he texted. The Giants could do the funniest thing ever, though. They could just hire Brian Flores, and then the whole PR stunt would be, my bad. That's it. Just my bad. We text the wrong Brian too. Like that would be the funniest thing ever. Is like they hire Brian Flores, and then the PR team says a Brian do-over or my bad. Like that's the only thing I thought about when I saw Brian Daboll get fired. Like it should have been Brian Flores from the get-go. We know what's behind that as well, but maybe, he'll finally get his chance. My guess is it won't be the Giants because of that weirdness that happened with them. Collusion, talking to people, all that other stuff, but you never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
What about Belichick? What do you think?
Maybe, because North Carolina is sick of him. I feel like they're like, take you and your girlfriend in those boots and get out of here. Because like the next topic, like I got a Belichick take on that. So what you got?
Next topic. What did I put? Oh, are the Patriots at 8-2 possibly the best team in pro football right now? Yeah,
I'd say 143 D1 schools believe they are. There's a 144th team out there in Chapel Hill that doesn't know the Patriots are winning right now. Why? Because Bill Belichick doesn't want any Patriots highlights. He doesn't want the staff from the Patriots coming to his building to recruit. He doesn't even he can't even promote Drake May, because he doesn't want to talk Patriots. Like, could you imagine if Bill Belichick wasn't the coach, how much North Carolina, Drake May, social media posts we would see right now about the Patriots and their quarterback being from North Carolina? Belichick can't even use that as a recruiting tool right now because he doesn't want to even talk about it. Like, that is what is so weird to me. Like, Drake May did nothing to you. The Patriots themselves as coaches did nothing to you. Your issue is with Robert Kraft. Why would you make this a personal, public issue? And it's one man. His scouts didn't do anything to you. The players at North Carolina deserve to be seen by the Patriots. There's only 32 teams, and you're taking one away. Dumb. It is absolutely dumb, and I think North Carolina is dumb for allowing him to do that. Like, if I'm the Board of Regents, I'm like, man, get over yourself. We are definitely going to highlight our guy. This is Drake May. Because I go to the Gopher games, and every weekend, Sam, they post pro Gophers, and they put Antoine Winfield and Max Brosmer. Imagine North Carolina doing that, right? And they're only promoting certain people, and then they don't put Drake May up there. Like, dumb. Just dumb. But yeah, are the Patriots the best team in football, Sam? No, they're not. They still have to play the Eagles. They still got to beat the Chiefs. Like, I want to see this in a playoff setting, right? Regular season, go after it. I want to see in a playoff setting, can they beat the Chiefs? Can they beat the Eagles? I mean, honestly, the Bills even. Like, the Bills, I want to see them playoff-ready Bills. Like, this loss the Bills just had, chalk it up. But I want to see playoff-ready Bills because it's a difference in the playoffs than the regular season, and that's what I want to see about this Patriots. When they get to the playoffs, because they're going to make it now, unless all hell breaks loose and they screw it all up, can they win some playoff games with that quarterback? And that's what I want to see.
Yeah, that's a good take. I've got an NBA question for you. We also have some NBA breaking news. Since this show started, the Mavs are firing Nico. Nico is out after a 3-8 start for the Mavericks. Cooper Flagg is not turning that team around yet. So Harrison's fired, but also, meanwhile, the Thunder are off to a 10-1 start. They're just a runaway freight train. Is it inevitable, Ron? Is there any point in even finishing the season with the Thunder as good as they are?
No, there's no point. Like, let's just give them the trophy again. Okay, so here's where I go with this, though, right? So we know what that team is about. We know what that offense is about. We know the calls, quote unquote, that they get that nobody else gets, right? There's also just chemistry. Like, this is what if the Thunder had kept Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook together, I believe they would have won a trophy a while ago, or at least been in the final to win it. But I think they would have won one because it takes time sometimes. Like, some people pull the eject button too quick, right? You could have pulled it on them when they lost before. You could have pulled it on them when guys got hurt. You could have pulled it on when you think, like, why are we not getting there? They're there now. They gelled. They're working together. You got guys that are willing to stay on the team and play together, kind of like the Spurs back in the day with Popovich. It feels like guys are willing to stay there for less money than they're probably worth. That's when you know you have a good team. And yes, I think they are destined to at least get to the final. Like, that's the key. They're going to get there. I don't see a deterrent in the East. When I'm looking at the East right now, I don't see a true deterrent yet. But again, it's early. It's really early. Injuries happen, things. So let's, in 30 weeks, you know what I mean? Or 20 weeks, whatever that is, 20 weeks. Let's see what it looks like in 20 weeks. Like, where are they at in January, February? Like, what has happened? That's what, 5 weeks, or no, that's 8 weeks from now, 16 weeks from now. Like, let's look at February, March. Like, when they get to there, what does it look like? I mean, I'd even say January, because injury and all that stuff and load management and that stuff starts kicking in. Right now, there's just a bunch of young guys with young legs that are excited about last year, and they have that, and they didn't have the, what is it called? The hangover. They didn't have the hangover. So that's the key too, is a lot of teams early on don't win, and people are questioning, did they party too much this offseason? Or did they read their headlines? No, I think this is a team that read the headlines and people are like, if this didn't happen, you wouldn't have won. If the refs didn't call this, you wouldn't have won. So I think they have a little chip on their shoulder, even though they are the champs.
Mm-hmm. A couple of years ago, we thought the Nuggets were going to be unstoppable. We thought they were going to go back-to-back, and then the Wolves beat them in 7. And it's really hard to go back-to-back. It's hard to have that same intensity in back-to-back years. So I'm not going to write them in yet. But if they are healthy come playoff time, I don't know who could beat them in a 7-game series. Maybe Wemby. Maybe the Spurs can.
Maybe.
I don't know if the Wolves can.
Wemby versus Chet. That's the tallest matchup I've ever seen in my life, and I'm looking forward to it. 2 ball handlers, 2 guys that like to stay up top, 2 guys that don't eat, 2 guys that eat whatever they want and their bodies don't change. That is a great weapon to have when you can just eat steaks and potatoes at midnight and you're still going to look like that. That is called athleticism. That is called a high metabolism. That's also called elite basketball, and those 2 guys have it. But yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it might come down to the Spurs OKC. I hope the Timberwolves are in that, but we'll see. But when you subscribe to Locked On Sports Minnesota, you're getting endless Vikings talk with local experts. Make sure you subscribe to the free Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast feed wherever you find your podcast, and you can find all of our videos on Locked On Sports Minnesota's YouTube channel. I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Extra. I want to thank you guys. Have a great week, people.